G'day and welcome back. As you can see, I've got my winding machine set up. Today I'm going to do a little bit of winding. I'm not going to show it all. A little while ago I did a Paillard radio, it's a Swiss radio. I finished the radio, it was working very well in the end, but testing it over a few days, it had too much hum in it. I tried to convince myself it was okay, but in the end I folded and I'm going to do something about it. What had happened to the radio originally was it was a field coil speaker. The field coil had failed at some point. Someone had fitted a roll or permanent magnet speaker in it, and they've added a little choke to take the place of the field coil. This is the choke that was fitted, and it's pretty hefty and it's got pretty fine windings, but it's only measuring, I think, about 35 ohms resistance. You would think with something that big and that size winding, it would be more in the 600 ohm mark. So that may have a short in it. I have no idea what the specifications are. I have another choke here. I wired that in lieu of this one, and the hum became acceptable. So I was going to use that, but it's the last one I have and I didn't want to waste it. But I did have another one of these and it's the same one. Here's the windings out of it. This is open circuit, so what I want to do is rewind this one and then I'll keep this one for later. So I printed out a bobbin. It's 3D printed out of ABS plastic. I have two little containers on the end there, and they have a little square in there to support this center part of the bobbin here so it doesn't compress when you wind the wires on it. And it also stops, because it's got a flange there, it stops this one from bowing out as you wind it. So I can mount that on the winding machine. I have my big roll of wire. It's 0.15 millimeters thick, so it's thinner than a human hair. I've got it on my easy roll dispenser here. I've set the machine up. I've got a little bit of wire running over here, you can just see it, and that's going to be underneath. They'll bring that around the front when I'm finished, but I think I should be able to push start and it should run. There she goes. I don't know how many turns I've got to put on this. I'll just let it run until it fills up the bobbin. I'll turn it off and I'll come back then. I'm just going to stop it here and see how we're going. I'll try and measure. It's supposed to be 34. I think it's gone a bit over. Yeah, 35.75. So it's a bit fat. I'll have to wind some off probably, but I'll take it off and just check it first before I do wind any off. I'll put a bit of tape there to hold the wires. I've got a couple of the laminations here, and that's got to be able to fit and not touch the wires. That's alright, and by the time I put the fish paper and whatever on there, there'll be just enough room. The winding came out nice, but it hasn't got a lot of tension on it, so I'm a bit worried it might vibrate. I'm going to dunk it in some electrical varnish. A little plastic container here. I'll top it up a bit just to cover it. Okay. I'll put it in my little vacuum chamber here. Just put some cloth there so it doesn't glue itself to the bottom of the container. Now the bubbles will start coming up shortly. We get lots of little ones. I'll leave it till all the bubbles stop. I'll take the little choke winding out and let it drip dry. I wasn't going to show any more of it being dunked, but that's pretty interesting. That's all the little bubbles on top of it after about 5 minutes. The varnish is dried overnight. I'll put some Tipton tape on there, and that will hold the windings and provide some insulation. I'll have to do 2 rows of tape. It's not wide enough to cover the width of the windings. And I'll just dress the wires across the Tipton tape here, and I'll put another piece of tape across the top. With those 2 wires secured now, I'm not quite so worried about pulling them and breaking them off. I need to scrape some of the insulation off, then I can solder it to the fly leads. A little bit of solder on there. Here's the second wire. I've used yellow and black wire, that seems to be the colour they use for chokes. I'll move these down toward the centre, and a bit of tape will hold it. Then I'll wrap it with at least 2 more layers of the Tipton tape, and that'll be it. I haven't checked this for continuity. I don't expect there'll be any problem. I've bared off the wire at the end of the 2 coils here because I don't know how long to cut the wire. So I'm hoping for 600, maybe a bit more. Can we read that? Oh, it's nearly 800. Now it is a little bit more resistance going through the wires here, but yeah, that's good. Excellent. The next step is to put the laminations back in. Assume they still fit. Here's the last one going in. That's always a tough one. Alright, you put in the outer case. There's a little piece of paper in there as an air gap, little insulator. That's got to stay there. That's important. There we go. I've got the radio powered on. It's working at the moment. I've got the original transformer that they use, or choke, and I've just wired it in with some clip leads. I'll turn it up. So there's the station. I'll take it off the station. Turn it down. Now I've got to say the hum is barely there, and that's why I didn't pick it up when it was on the bench. When it's in the cabinet, of course, it's much louder. I'll just be quiet. We'll see if we can measure it. Okay, I'll take this apart and I'll put in the new transformer. I've got the new transformer in there, and I've put the clip leads in there. It's running, the radio is running, and I can't hear any hum at all now. Not a peep. So that's worked much better than the old one here. I'm half expecting Porky Pig to come out of there and say,
that's all, folks.
When I restored the radio, I put a resistor in just after the field coil, just to drop the voltage a little bit. It's now reading 249 on the plate of the output valve. So that's perfect. I can stick it back in the case. It's all back together. I'll turn it on. It'll take 30 seconds to warm up. I'll come back. There he is. Naturally there's a song on. Anyway, the hum from the speaker is, you can't even hear it. The power transformer is making more noise or more hum than the speaker. So that's been a good fix. It's always a bit of fun to do some winding. I learn so much every time I do one. I get a little bit better. I pick something up and get better at it. That's one job done. What do we do next? Funny you should ask. My Grundig Radiogram has developed a problem. I did a 4-part series on this about 4 years ago. It's a typical radiogram, a Grundig branded Philips record player on this side, and the radio on this side. I'll turn it on and demonstrate the problem. I'll turn the volume down. Now when it warms up, it develops a mains hum. I'll be quiet and you should be able to hear it. It's not really bad yet, but it's annoying. So just get the records out. Now the radio chassis is held in by 4 screws. You can see there's 2 on each side. They're really hard to get at. I have to use a stubby screwdriver, and even that's a bit long. Alright, the 4 screws are out. I need to access the back, so I'll pull it away from the wall. There's a couple of plugs here for the speaker and the radiogram and the antenna, so just undo those. The back panel's held in place with the 2 screws here, and I made this back panel. I had to drill all these by hand. Alright, that's all undone. This will come out. I'll take it to my workroom. I have it on my bench, so have a look at it. It's only got medium wave, short wave 1, 2 and 3. This would have had FM, but it's an import into Australia, so we didn't have FM till about 75. So there's no FM. If it was in Germany or Europe, it would have had the FM. They've probably put 1 or 2 short waves in there to replace the FM and maybe long wave. Now, when I was restoring this thing, one of the channels failed as I kept going. It got worse and worse, and it turned out the output transformer was failing. And by the end of the series, this output transformer wasn't even working. So my friend Blitz over in Germany, he sourced a couple of transformers for me and sent them over, and he did an amazing job. He went all over. I think he got these in Switzerland, and he picked them up, checked them, and then sent them to me. Remarkable guy. That's enough preamble. Let's have a look at the filter capacitors. They're down the end here. There's the smoothing caps. They're the two main ones. They're both 47s. I'm not sure what that one is. It only looks about a 10 or something, so that's an additional one somewhere. These are the two main ones though. This is the major one coming off the silicon rectifier that I've put in there. It's going through a little dropper resistor. That's the main one. There'll be a resistor, and then this one. This one here is under the most stress, so that's probably the one that's failed. And I've just mounted them on a tag strip there. I've got a plug here with some wires in it for the speaker. I'll just put those in. I've moved one of the shop speakers down low so I can put a camera on it, and I've got a microphone on it. So I'll move it in closer. We should be able to pick up the hum with the microphone on the camera. The set's powered. I'll just put it on gramophone. I'll turn the volume down. It's already down. And I can hear the hum. It's not bad. I'll switch to the microphone on the speaker. We'll see if we can hear the hum. Alright, I've got some clip leads here. I'll put one on ground, and I'll connect this one to here. And on the other end I have a 33 microfarad capacitor, so that'll be in parallel with that one, and that'll give that a boost. I'll put some power on again. While the radio is warming up, I'll just say I've connected this capacitor in now, and it's charging with the radio. If I had left the clip lead off and then connected it after the radio is powered on, there'd be a fairly big spark there. I can't hear any hum at all. It's all gone. Yeah, I can't hear anything. I'll take this on and off, and we'll compare the sound with it on and with it off. Okay, I'll put that back on because that capacitor is now charged. It's as I thought. It'll be that capacitor there. I'll change both of these, and then there won't be an issue. I'll put some of Carl's capacitors in there. I'll remove this tag strip. There's a bolt on the bottom there, a little screw, hex screw. Alright, so that should come away and I can work on it. Oh no, something's holding it. Alright, that looks easy enough. Just unsolder them, pop new ones in. I'll change this end one as well. And I'll use some of Carl's fabulous capacitors. I've never had any trouble with these ones. You probably don't want to sit there and watch me doing this. I'll do all this off camera. I'll come back. It's all back together. I've used two Carl's capacitors here. I've never had any issues with these capacitors. So there's a link in the description below the video if you want to have a look at his eBay store. And I also changed that little 10 microfarad one down the end there. It's powered up and I can't hear any hum. I think it's gone. The transformer's making more noise than the speaker. I'll give these a test, but you know, really, they're not going to show up anything wrong with them, I'm pretty sure. So these are 47 ohm, microfarad. Yeah. I think, yeah, that's the one that was, I think was wrong, or not so good. Just do the other ones. Alright. 46, yeah. They're really not going to show up a fault. I don't think there's anything wrong with them really. That one's 10. 10, yeah. Can't really check with this. You need to put some voltage on them, see if they break down. But it seems to be working better. I think the hum's dropped a bit. So that lot's going in the bin. I'll put this back in the cabinet. I'll just try it out before I do so. I've put a loop antenna around the loop stick or ferrite antenna there.
The cost, whether they can make a profit on a quick flight from Adelaide to Mount Gambier when you could jump in the car and be there in 4 hours, that kind of makes some sense. But if you're talking about Melbourne to Hamilton...
Just turn that down. There's no hum. I can't hear the hum anymore, so I'm not sure what the difference is. Those capacitors may be a little bit weak.
Flights booked. It's going to affect Qantas and Jetstar flights.
Game and Big Mo's been coming off the bench. Another one, I've got a...
Yeah, so it's working all right. I'll put it back in the case. I have the radio back in the cabinet. I'll turn it on, and I'll just give it a minute to warm up. Alright, it's warmed up. I can tell there's not as much hum. I'll put the microphone near the speaker and we'll have a listen. I'll compare that to the hum we had this morning and back to now. Clearly that's dropped it back to a normal amount, and I'm probably half a metre away and I can't hear it. So that's a good result. I don't really know what was wrong with the old capacitors. They seemed to test all right, but they were working fine, and then a couple of months ago I turned it on and it had the hum in it. Only a short video this week, but 2 different methods of dealing with hum, and both have worked pretty well. So I hope you enjoyed what I did this week, and I hope you can join me next time for my next radio adventure.